Hello, everyone. My name is Nika, and I want to welcome you at the home. In a few minutes, I'm going to make a short presentation, hopefully short, of the concept that we are working on with my team for the last few years, actually. And before that, I'd love to share with you some insights from different studies on why we think this concept is so important. So all of you probably aware that productive land and fertile soil are part of our shared natural capital. The management of land by owners and users is therefore fundamental for sustainable resource use and delivery of ecosystem services. While the demand for food and the pressures on land and soil are increasing globally, biodiversity is visibly declining. Current land use practices and observed land cover changes put significant pressure on the land system. The condition of land and soils is affected by loss of productive land because of land take and the type and intensity of land management. Half of the topsoil on the planet has been lost in the last 150 years. In addition to erosion, soil quality is affected by other aspects of agriculture. These impacts include compaction, loss of soil structure, nutrient degradation, and soil salinity. These are very real and at times severe issues. The productivity of some lands has declined by 50% due to soil erosion and desertification. So on one hand, we have lots of land that needs to be restored, and actually, on the same hand, we have all this carbon that must be brought back into the soil. And we believe high population density is not necessarily related to land degradation. It is what a population does to the land that determines the extent of degradation or regeneration, right? So people can be, and we really believe so, that people can be a major asset in reversing a trend towards degradation. However, they need to be healthy and politically and economically motivated to care for the land. The problems that we have, on the other hand, are a growing unemployment rate that is now somewhat from 6 to 8% according to different sources. In some countries, going up to 30%, and I still believe that those are very humble numbers compared with those that we will be left with after the pandemic. And the statistic around homelessness also doesn't say anything inspiring, with the numbers keeping growing no matter how much money were allocated towards the issue. Only in the United States, there are around 600,000 people were experiencing homelessness on a single night in January 2019. Just 96,000 out of which are chronically homeless individuals. And I remind you, these numbers are the pre-pandemic stats. Also, we all heard about the refugee crisis with 79.5 million people that were forcibly displaced at the end of 2019, according to the UN Refugee Agency, as well as the situation with sexual minorities, suppressed racial and ethnic groups, where people sometimes just don't feel like they are full-fledged members of society. So all of this, we as humans call the problems, thinking that each of such requires a solution. While if you think about this, there are no problems in nature's ecosystems because each part of it as a solution to some other. So what if instead of continuing the same pattern of separating the issues and through endless trials and errors looking for solution, we would mimic the natural patterns and allow the holistic approach to take place, when what we call problems would solve each other symbiotically. And that's where the home comes to the stage. Perfect. So we aim for the goal, at first sight, a very ambitious one to reverse climate change by helping people in need, but in fact, there are plenty of local initiatives and even governmental programs that, in some way or another, are on the same path. The only difference with the home is that we aim to fulfill the missing link between existing solutions and people's access to it. And yes, this holistic concept implemented 16 out of 17 United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, which is also, I think, important. So our goal is to create a network of regenerative farms and permaculture gardens that would serve as healing and educational centers for the local communities. With the focus on displaced populations and the minorities, we will provide all residents with holistic healthcare and the necessary knowledge to help them become earth guardians, spread regenerative practices, and restore lands globally. So we believe that any segregation makes us weaker. And when we as people are separated, are so disconnected from each other, it's making us weaker. But the fact that we are so disconnected from nature, from land, our food sources, is one of the major issue, in my opinion. And so the first goal will be, of course, to reconnect humans with nature, because after all, we are nature, right? And we are going to do it by creating a network of accessible and safe healing centers around the world. As for now, such retreat centers surrounded by nature exist everywhere, but unfortunately, only a few have access to it. So, with the home, any person that feels like they need a pause, a change in their life can be supported by accessible infrastructure and community, regardless of financial status. And that's what we see as the missing link, actually, because you can imagine if people, um, if people who can afford staying in such retreats needed, how much it might be needed for people who are struggling with having their basic needs met. And this hardly seems possible when we expect people going through rough times become a contributor to a collective well-being without some kind of rehabilitation process, right? In order to grow this idea exponentially, once the flagship project is up and running, we are going to offer a blueprint of such center and the full support of the network to the local communities that are ready to build the home in their area. And this way, we will be able to spread regenerative and permaculture practices that, when implemented globally, as I said before, um, are proven to have all the chances to reverse climate change and restore land, water, and even air quality. The idea is to create a replicable model for those who are ready to build a home with support of local community and our network. The only difference from our own strategy will be the fact that we are building each step from the scratch, experimenting and letting it grow naturally, while once it's done, we'll be able to give the final blueprint to people all over the world. In order to join the network, the whole network, there are just a few requirements, including implementing permaculture and regenerative practices in the food produce, and following the guideline on intentionally inclusive community. So once we receive a proper amount of applications from one location, we already started receiving these applications from through our website. If you go to our website, you can find there a questionnaire, and we already have applications from Italy, from Spain, from Russia, from Mexico, so from basically all over the world. So once we receive a proper amount of applications from one location, we gift a copy of our virtual office, as our team is working fully remote. Um, now, and we see the benefits of such opportunity to be true. We have our office fully digitalized, and we offer a set of sessions where we distribute the areas of responsibilities among the team, after which they have their copy of the virtual office with all necessary content for a successful start. From there, we are asked to expand their network, as we did, inviting different organizations involved in sustainability to partner and collaborate with. We believe that, and I'm sure you too, if you came here, the new era is all about collaboration and synergizing, and that is why we put it as an initial step in the process. So once this step is achieved, we invite the team to look for the land for their project, and at some point, we as a nonprofit possibly will be able to provide the land for this effort, or at least to contact the team with the farmers who are looking to switch to regenerative practices and want to support this initiative. But in any case, the next step after finding the land is fundraising. And we believe that at some point, we also will be providing major financial support to the rural communities for the implementation of this program. We've also, with the building techniques that we are going to use in our concept, we don't have to invite professional construction companies to build each project. Moreover, during the construction stage, we envision a festival where people are coming and building the home center together, enjoying music and well-being practices while getting on hand workshops on eco-constructions, planting, cooking, community governance, holistic medicine, and more. Once the project is built, we can invite first people to stay over there, and with that, we can heal the local food chain when the produce made by residents will be distributed to the local community through affordable TSA system. It also has to do with the local economy. It's not on this slide, but I think it's important when instead of withdrawing financial resources from local departments to the headquarter office as it's is done by global corporations now, we're going to keep all the income in local economy, what I think is really, really important to mention. Also, we will be able to heal people. As I said before, it aims to be set up more as a retreat center. That's why our educational course includes holistic healing practices that lead to physical, mental, and spiritual well-being. And so the whole regenerative course takes 4 months, after which our graduates are offered several job opportunities, from being a permaculture consultant and helping a farmer to switch to regenerative practices, to starting the home project on their own with our support. But the main goal for us would be to encourage people to get into the restoration program, where the team of graduates will be provided with a plot of degraded land and supported on the way to its full recovery. And here is an explanation of how we can grow. Once the first center is built, we will be able to train at least one team per month. And once their center is built, they will get the opportunity to train the teams as well. So in just 4 years, we can have around 500 centers and up to 200,000 educated regenerative specialists globally. And there are all just, let's say, humble estimates, as depending on the initial funding, we can have a separate department that will take care of the educational and onboarding processes for the newly formed teams. And speaking about funding, we are going to raise the initial $2 million, half of which will be raised through our fundraising campaign. And the other half is offered to be covered by an angel investor to get the campaign off the ground. This would provide the first year of runway to develop the first regenerative center as a proof of concept. As for now, we got offered several land opportunities and still are in negotiations with the owners of which of this. One of this is a 300 acres eco farm in San Diego that has everything on place already, and the other one is 3,000 acres of empty land. And we're now trying to figure out what would be more useful for us to build this from the scratch and actually show how we can restore the lands through our practices, or to make this, to have it all built much faster and have this farm already placed. So we're still in this point of figuring out if we which farm, which land we need. And I want you to meet our beautiful team. 6 of us are working constantly as core team members in our virtual office, and the rest will be working directly on the property once we have it placed. And I'm so thankful and really honored that this beautiful and knowledgeable team of professionals is dedicating their time to make this world a better place through the home. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you those who joined us today. It means a lot to me. It means that the home project is needed, and there is nothing more inspiring to see how your baby is growing and attracts attention. So if there are questions, oh, I see people just joining now. Right in time, guys. Okay, good. So if there are questions, it's a perfect. Okay. For those who just joined, you found the best time to do it because I just finished the presentation, but hopefully you'll be able to catch up with this through the questions. I don't know. Let's see. I received some questions in the chat, I believe, or not. So, does anyone have questions? I'd love to hear your anything like if you feel that there are some flaws and you want to highlight this, I will really appreciate this because we are launching the project at 1st of December, and it's a huge step. We'll be showing everything to people, and we need to see maybe we are missing something. And yeah, anyone?
Are we allowed to just jump in?
Of course, of course.
Okay. First of all, I love the presentation. It was really inspiring, and I think what you're doing is great. My name is Omen. I just recently, I guess, joined the home. Really excited. One question, or I guess me and Nico already kind of talked about the education component for the educational component of the home. Like I feel like that's going to be a very important component and getting people to understand the practices so they can become a sustainable self. So I was wondering if like anyone I guess was interested in the educational component of the home and developing that, because I feel like that will be something very critical, because we can't really, I guess, start developing things without education, right? Like I feel like education is a huge component that's going to be a part of this. I don't know if that made sense.
100%. Um, we first of all, with the offline education that we will provide to people on the farms, we also want to be able to provide online education to people who can't maybe come to the farm, but they still want to have want to learn these processes. So we partnered with Enlighten organization that is working with professionals with more than, I believe, 40 years of experience in education. And also through the same organization, through the same partner, we aim to have online education for children of the families that will be in the home network. So We want to provide not only regenerative practices online course, but also a general education for kids of the families that will be in the home.
Yeah. By the way, everyone, I'm from Enlighten as well. So me and Nico are working together on this. But essentially, what we've already had have developing is agricultural and bioenergy course, sustainable philosophy. We're gonna be working on the regenerative farming course with Nika. So a lot of sustainability educational courses, and I feel like there's a huge potential to bring that all to the home and educate people on all these sustainability topics because like we truly need. I feel like education is very important, and that's just my passion. But I'm really excited to bring all these programs and give it to people that are part of the home because I think it'll be very useful to just learn about all the aspects of sustainability. And regenerative farming is a huge one. Like it's very critical, especially with the amount of carbon that can sequestrate. And yeah, I'm just really excited. But I'll stop talking now.
Thank you, Aman. Um, Anyone else who wants to add something, to ask something? Don't be shy.
Hi. So part of your process is around or potentially um, reaching out to farmers who have land and encouraging them to move to a model of co-ownership. And I'm wondering what that looks like, whether there are incentive structures for those people, because I could imagine, especially in a profession like farming, which is very slim margins, risky business, being hesitant to dive into a model of co-ownership.
Very good question. So there are different models for this. So there could be like as it happening with us, with the people who offered us to step into ownership. um, they have they have actually a debt and they need to pay it out, and they also don't want to just sell this land, part of this land, to someone. They really into like supporting their communities and they want to be part of this project. So this is one of options. So another one would be if um, so we have different um, financial models. For instance, we have a model that allows farmers to earn on carbon sequestration, so on carbon credits. We have farmers, and it's not necessarily co-ownership. It's like one of the ways how we can have a land, but there are different models. Like for instance, there are subsidies that we hope to get from um, governments when we would ask them to provide us with degraded lands that we are going to restore. And there are a few programs in USA as well, where they when they offer land for basically to preserve it, to not do anything. If you can preserve it, you can like have it. But the idea for us is to bring this whole concept that it is not necessarily should be preserved. It could be maintained in the way that will help the environment. Um, so we're still developing these different ways.
That's super cool. I think the idea of being able to offset some of your costs by selling carbon offsets is really key. I know a lot of folks who are feeling wanting to offset, but not really sure the best way to do that, particularly with like burning forests and things like that being an issue.
Exactly. The thing is, I looked into few organizations that are working in this field, and I kind of what is this? I kind of wasn't. How can I put it? I wasn't sure where they are selling these carbon credits to whom, and would it be like the same if we like the same amount we like restore, reverse, regenerated. So we take all this carbon, and then some organization buys it just to make it all into zero, right? So for me, it's important to where is the eco going from? So yeah, for me, it's important who we sell this, and that we are we are, let's say, in control here. We know that we are doing it um, for our environment, first of all, not for um, profit. So yeah.
Good morning, everybody.
Oh, hi.
My name is Jan Bird. I'm in Mexico. I am an environmental scientist turned regenerative farmer and farm consultant. I started after the environmental science with permaculture, which was my gateway drug into all things regenerative. And from there, I've trained and worked with the Savory Institute in holistic management, which is primarily a holistic organizational development system and decision-making framework that comes from the use of herds of grazing animals. You could call it regenerative ranching to restore the ecosystem function in arid and semi-arid grassland environments. And most recently have been really jamming on the agroforestry systems. And about 1 year ago, took the leap into farming myself. So about 1 year into development on a small farm, developing a model farm here for this region in Mexico based on syntropic agroforestry, and also consulting with basically a group of nonprofits that's looking to invest in helping the food system in the state here in Mexico to transition to a one that is regenerative, agroecological, and focused on local farmers feeding the local people. So a little intro, but I have two questions.
Mm-hmm.
And let me know if the construction noise in the background is too much. If it's too annoying, I'll just type the question. But
No,
otherwise,
that
I'll
is
keep.
okay.
Okay. So one question is, you have a strong focus in regenerative farming in the project, which is absolutely beautiful. And I'll say the whole vision is amazing and beautiful. I'm really glad that you're bringing this into the world. It's very much in alignment with my visions and plans as well. As somebody who's been pretty deeply involved in regenerative farming, in helping farmers transition, and in looking at what it takes to put together projects on a larger scale, especially, it's extremely complex and challenging, and very much, very much dependent on local contexts. And then I know Aman was mentioning putting together an online course on regenerative farming. So one question I have is, how do you hope to pull that off, really? Or who do you have who do you have behind you that is has some real hands in the dirt experience with farming? I can say, on my own journey, totally, I was the person who came into this with no experience farming and was swept away with the ideals. and to connect with real farmers who make their livelihood on it and help them to transition to something totally different is, yeah, it's quite the undertaking. So I'm wondering if you can speak a little bit more to how you plan to approach that, and based on what experience or whose experience. And the second part, or the second question that I have is, as somebody who's looking at this project and would ask myself, is this something that I want to align with or participate in? I'm wondering, beyond the general pattern of how it's going to work that you laid out, what level of financial modeling you've done, um, kind of considering finances as general energy flow. So in the broad sense, modeling of all of the costs that are involved in each stage of the project, and then the different points of revenue or income. Um, how much further have you developed the business plan, basically? Thank you.
Perfect. Great questions. Thank you. So answering the first question, as I mentioned in the deck as well, we are all about partnerships and collaborations. So we partnered with regenerative systems organizations. That's the name, regenerative systems. And the guy with the name Rohan is the founder there, and here he is basically in our team. So he has more than 10 years of experience in this, and he will be advising us in the whole process. Also, we partnered with Ron and Joanna. They don't have any organization, they just Ron and Joanna, but if you type their names in Google, you can find that they have also like around 30 years of experience of going off the grid. So they recently released a book on this, and they will be taking this part of this whole concept. So we partnered with several organizations and people who can also Brennan Blazer, but like there are different people and organizations who are advising us on this we get to this when we get to this. And as you said, in order to get there, we need funds. And for the funds, I don't know if you saw, I put a little bit of a financial part in the deck, in the previous, in one of the slides, but along with this, we also are preparing to release our own cryptocurrency, to do an ICO, to have the initial funds placed. And we already have people who believe in our concept and want to get this whole thing going through this concept, through the ICO. And also we are thinking about selling shares like equity, but it's a little bit like tricky, so we're still thinking about this, but there are several ways. And also with the concept of carbon sequestration, of carbon credits, now we have potentially, I just talked with people, they didn't say anything yet, we have potentially some investors who are interested in investing in our organization. So does it answer your question?
Yeah, on the farming side, what about on like the financial modeling? Let's say into phases kind of 2 and 3.
So for the phases 2 and 3, we have just estimates. We can't like one the farm that offered us land for own to lease. They already have all the thing going. They farming for like 20 years or something there, and they have all operations going, and they have all the estimates as well. So but to switch, just to make the switch, we have only like estimates, and we estimate it will take to fully develop the land, it will take 700,000, and to get the home uh, built and to run it for first year, it will take $2 million to make it like proper. The rest of the project, when we are going to spread the rest of the project, will take less financing, probably because now it will be like the very first attempt to build something like this. But for now, it is 2 millions that we are going to fundraise. Is it answering your question? Yeah.
Nika, it's Jeff. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you? Oh, hi,
Good.
Jeff. Really glad to see you.
Yeah, really nice to see you too. My apologies, I had a conflicting Zoom for the first half hour, and I actually had two going at the same time. That one ended, so I switched over to my laptop, and that I might have been the one you said, oh, you're just joining now? But I was listening as best I could to two at one time. But I just want to say to all of you, as spokesperson for the generation that created, unintentionally, a lot of the current climate crisis problems that the Earth is experiencing, I applaud you all for addressing this as a high priority, and it gives me hope for the future, as did the election that's not over yet. And I wanted to offer, one, I wanted to ask, do you have a recording of your presentation? So can you email that to me when you have that ready? And I'd like to figure out how I can assist. And my skill set is construction. I've current owner of a construction company based in Las Vegas that's been in business for 32 years. So I've learned a thing or two about how to get stuff built. And if those skill sets can assist you, please don't hesitate to ask for my assistance. I'm currently kind of almost sort of semi-retired, which looks like about 6 afternoons a week in the office. And we're actually living in Eden, Utah now. And I commute to Las Vegas a couple times a month to remind everybody who the boss is as they continue to operate. But that's all I really wanted to say. And, congratulations. And I'm really proud of everybody. And especially you, Nika, because we had conversations about this, I don't know, 3 years ago when you were working on setting up the nonprofit in Las Vegas is where you were. So well done. Well done.
Thank you, Jeffrey. Kiss Kevin for me. I miss your family. Love you.
I'm actually going to see Kevin in a couple of hours, really for the first time in quite a while, because he arrived back here last night. We're going to do a mountain bike ride together in a little bit. But I will give him my best. And if you're raising funds, he's the guy you want to drag into this. So I would definitely reach out to him when the time comes that you need financing.
Thank you, Jeffrey.
You're welcome.
I see Aurimas the hand raised. Do you want to say something?
Yeah. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Hi. So I'm Aurimas, and I have experience in farming, electronics engineer, and sustainable living. And my question to Nika would be, which regenerative and sustainable practices are you going to use to build and gather actual materials that are necessary to build the housing in order to not damage the environment even further while building the houses?
For now, thank you for question, Aramis. For now, we're looking at Call Earth Technologies. Are you familiar with this organization?
Can you explain a bit more, maybe?
So they have sustainable adobe structures. They put basically earth into the bags, and they create beautiful dome kind of structures from basically the materials that are on place. This organization was created by a person, um, Halil Hadid, um, in order to help with refugee crisis, in order to help people who are currently displaced, and basically you can build it in pretty short time, and it's fully sustainable, and it's what is also very important for us, it's disaster proof, meaning that it's fire resistant, earthquake resistant, and it maintains its temperature inside um, pretty, pretty well. So we're thinking about this. For now, it's not confirmed yet, but for now, it's the winner from all the constructions we looked at, from everything we tried to fit in the concept. This is the winner for now, because we want this to spread. We want this to be as simple as possible. So we want people on some remote location to be able to build it according to the blueprint.
Great, thank you for the answer.
Thank you for your question. I see Indy Rishi is raising hand. Hey.
Hello.
Oh, hi.
Yeah, good job. That was amazing.
Oh, thank
And so awesome seeing all the amazing people coming together here with a similar vision, which we all need. So a couple of things really quick. My question is based on something that's like really important, I feel, especially with dealing with different communities around the world and helping to build sustainable communities. But before I get there, I'm going to share something with everybody in the feed in terms of like working with the government, making money, raising funds, getting grants to the government, or even actually like allocating funds. There's a lot of money to be had with taxpayer money. A lot of that money gets like goes to corporations because people are not involved in their local jurisdictions. $2 trillion last year was just with the just local jurisdictions. $2 trillion just for your local taxes went into local jurisdictions. So there's a lot of money at the local level, but we have to show up at city hall meetings and and be like, hey, look, we have this project and we want to build a sustainable place that's going to also support the community. It's going to feed the community. We need money for this, and they'll make money for it. Like there's already stuff happening in California where they are supporting like people who want to hire farmers, and they like the California subsidizes that. So just letting you guys know, there's a lot of money to be had, and I'll share what we're working on so you guys can check that out. But the question I have for you, Nika, is what is like your plan or your idea for like mitigating so like whenever you build a community space, there's always the chance that people's egos and their like desires go out of whack, or like it becomes an adult playground basically, and it loses focus, or so what is your how are you going to maintain the integrity of the space to make sure there is a masculine feminine balance, make sure that there's an appreciation of like spiritual, I mean, cultural intelligence, understanding different culture. I mean, how are you going to maintain that, like, I guess the infrastructure, which we haven't seen? I mean, there's really not much examples of it working in the world. So how are you going to maintain that?
Thank you for the question, Indy. And before I answer, Aman, I would like you to connect with Indy, maybe in private messages, because Indy has an idea of working with children, like basically really close concept to ours, but
Mhm.
related to children. And I believe um, your people in your organization would be interested to connect with him.
Yeah,
To
and I can even jump in and answer some of those questions. Some of the programs we create are emotional and social learning. So learning how to be more empathetic towards, well, being more empathetic towards other people around you and the environment. So I feel like a huge part of the educational component that we provide will be very helpful for the home and maintaining that, because we focus on building the sustainable self. Like that's just one of the programs, emotional and social learning. We have leadership program. Someone's working on a spirituality and wellness program. So we have different educational programs that we're willing to provide to the home and essentially help people build the sustainable self.
Okay.
Nito, you can go ahead. Sorry, I just kind of jumped in though.
Perfect. Thank you for sharing, Aman. Thank you for question, Indy. So, because in the home we will be, it's not like you come there and you stay there. There is a 4 months transition, and you come and you're going through this transition. And people who are staying there for a while, they kind of came there for a reason, and they are staying in the community that you know how it is when you come to the community, you kind of follow the guideline of the community. And because this will be always, how can I say, rotation, always, people will be always changing. The new people who just came, when they're growing, when they're going through this process um, of education, of rehabilitation, of healing themselves, while they're growing, they are surrounded by community who has same intentions. So while they're growing, you come in and looking at them doing the same, and that's how I just see it maintained. But I want to a question actually that inspired me to share something. Um, Give me a second here. So we are working on the renders for our organization, like renders, animations, all kinds of beautiful stuff. And here, I don't know why it's not opening. Give me a few seconds. Come
I think
on.
you're on the wrong share screen. We see your notes right now. Where you
Okay, let's try. Oh, okay. And if I share my screen now, um, this. Oh, this. Okay. So basically, it is. Don't laugh at this. It's my drawing for designer who will be designing our, who is already designing our concept of how this farm, how this concept would look like. So these are whites. This is just her design. It's in this color. So basically, people when they just come to the farm, they stay in the big house, and it's 6 people come that can come at the same time, and then they spend a week just relaxing, right? They just relaxing. They receive support from those who live in the house. May I ask someone who makes these noises to make themselves mute because it's a little loud here? Okay, I found it. Okay. So basically, they come and stay at the main house, enjoying home cooked meals and just relaxing for the first week, right? Then um, 3 groups of 2 people, 3 pairs, let's say, go in these little structures, one here, and then in these staying in these structures, they learn how to take care about themselves. They learn yoga, they learn other well-being practices. Um, and when they move to the next sector, so I didn't mention this, that this each spiral has 12 sectors. So it takes 4 months to finish the spiral, meaning to finish the educational course. Um, and they move in at first each week. So on the second week, they learn spiritual practices. On the third week, they receive their first garden with the with easy manageable crops, um, and they kind of receiving this feel of responsibility gradually, right? It's not like everything comes on them at the same time. They just learning how to take care of land, how to connect with land at first, being educated on how to connect with themselves. So it's a really brief description. This is a very like a very like basic draft for the designer. So I wasn't supposed to share this, but I really was excited to. So you can see the concept. Any other questions? Indy, you wanted to share something. Feel free to share if you want. No?
I think I posted it. I think I linked it in the thing.
The link. Oh, okay.
But certainly for those people in America, like it'd be a smart idea to start, you know, we need your guys' support in like filling out the data and also starting to like put things like the home on there, right? Like bring it into the public, I guess the public, I guess, what is it called? They're like, they don't even know like this stuff is happening. A lot of most people in our communities don't know this is a possibility. So we have to raise that awareness that these things are possible. And that we're organized, and not a bunch of hippies. Oh, I'm a hippie, but you guys don't seem like hippies, so.
We're all hippies, but there are different kinds of hippies, right?
Organized. We're structural hippies.
Exactly.
Structural. We're the meta modern hippies. Anika, thank you so much. It was so powerful to hear that. I knew this meeting is coming and it's about time. You know, we're gonna see everything. And I love the last drawing that you shared and look forward to seeing it, you know, almost like an interactive map. The question I have is like, how are you guys planning to vet the people that you're actually allowing in? You know what I mean? Like, I can't imagine that you would have welcomed everyone in the beginning stage, and what would be the people and what would be the process of filtering community?
Great question. Yeah, I get asked this a lot, and I love this question because, of course, at the first stages we can't invite, let's say, hard people with like severe mental disorders, or we need people who can come and in perspective will help us as well to build the proof of concept. So the first people will be invited through our partners. We already partnered with St. Joseph with St. Joseph Center for, I don't know if someone, probably someone even participated in our Homies Gems Fests. So we did a few in Venice Beach and in Skid Row, where we would invite homeless people, not homeless people. We were sit on together in circle, and we would have like food in the middle, healthy juices, and we would have donation stations right near the circle, and we would play on different instruments, and it was like such a beautiful atmosphere when we were just coming as a people together, right? And we kind of grow this concept a little bit into the idea that it could be whole festivals where like the one in Skid Row, they doing this once a year, I believe in January. So we can do it each month and see who are willing to come and connect with other people, and kind of first people could be invited directly through these events. And also, as I said, we connected with St. Joseph Center. There are few initiatives in Skid Row that are willing to collaborate with us as well. So first people will be definitely, let's say, chosen, because we can't invite everyone straight away while we're not strong enough to support everyone. Any other questions, guys? I love these questions, really. Thank you for asking all this.
Anika.
Oh, hi, Sam.
Yeah, I just want to say it's so cool to see this come from the Homies Jam Sessions to here. I'm just really impressed with the way you've cultivated the team and the way you're just so clear on your intention. So I really feel like, even if some things don't go according to plan and things are changing, like you're so clear on the intention and you always bring everything to it that I know you're just always going to figure out great solutions. And one thing I was just missing was the initial 2 million. Is that paying for the property too, or is that a separate funding?
So first of all, thank you, Sam. I always wanted to say thank you to you for your endless support since the beginning. Like our first events were supported with Sam fully, with Sole and Sam and Susan was there. Like a lot of people actually were supported us from the beginning, and I'm so glad to see you guys here. Thank you so much.
Looking forward to being back there soon. When's the next Homies Jam session too? That's my second question.
Maybe when it's got a little bit warmer, and maybe, I don't know, let's see. I'm going there in a few weeks, by the way. So answering your question, the 2 millions will provide the first year of running to set up this proof of concept, this whole thing being built, but it's not included. The property, the full price of property, it's not included. What included is the price of lease for this year. So if you're gonna buy this property fully right away, it would cost $3.8 million, and it's like fully functional eco farm. But we also got offered with it's not like offer. The owner of this land still considering different projects for this land, but it's like 3,000 acres, empty land, absolutely empty, and we're thinking to that it might be a better option for us to kind of regenerate the land from zero, not coming to the place that were prepared, like with eco practices, with everything. They have even solar panels there. So instead of doing this, we can come and it will be free. I mean, we will take care of all the setup and everything, but the land will be provided for free. So we have different options. But if we're going together with this land that's already set up and we want to buy it out right away, it's 3.8 million cost of the land.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Where's the 3,000 acres?
It's in Baja, California. Baja.
I'm in Baja California Sur.
Yeah, it's there. Any other questions? No.
What are next steps? What was your hope for this call mainly? What were you hoping to get out of it? And would you say you got it? Or if not, what's missing? What's next steps for us, for you?
Great question, thank you. So for me, this call was like a step that is needed to be taken to bring this concept out, because we are like in our team, we meet in like twice a week, and we have it all kind of figured out as we think inside our team. And I wanted to see as if community will see the same idea, will get it, and if there are some flaws, they will bring it to the table. So I kind of very satisfied with this meeting, and the next step will be the project launch at 1st of December. And we're going to have an online event. It will be an inclusivity celebration where we invite representative from different ethnic and racial and sexual groups of minorities, and we provide an opportunity for them to connect with their communities during the festival. And from there, we will be launching the home, as we are all about inclusivity, about connection. So we chose this concept for our launch. And 1st of December as well, we're going to start our fundraising campaign. And it will be interesting. I never run, I never did it. I never ran the fundraising campaign. So let's see how it will go. But um, I can say for sure that for last years since I started doing it, everything is just happening like due to some magic, you know, everything is just coming to place. And I know most of our community know what I'm talking about when if you fully aligned with your mission, you kind of feel like whole universe is helping you. So I don't know if
Nika,
it's answering the question.
just to jump in, one of my friends is actually just completing fundraising this month, and he told me that if I ever needed help fundraising, to let him know. So he's in the process of obtaining 1.5 million for his company that's developing mental health for artificial intelligence, and I'm going to speak to him about this project as well and see if he'd be willing to jump in. And just another thought off the top of my head is we're using artificial/emotional intelligence to measure the impact of our sustainability projects. I think we could probably potentially use it to show how we can change emotional sentiment within populations through your project, The Home. And then that will give it validation because it's very difficult to see return on investment. So what we've been doing is looking at studying emotions. So I think it's just all piecing in my head right now how everything could combine together. And we'll talk more, but yeah.
Yeah, I love this concept. We should implement it in with the home as well. Is there any more questions? Feels like we covered a lot today. I'm really satisfied with this call, guys. Thank you so much.
Nika,
Yeah.
I have additional question.
Yes, please.
I know you're thinking about that, but marketing, how are you planning to get the word out and what's going to be the structure on that? And like, who are you inviting in terms of people capital to help spread the word? Like, for example, if I wouldn't be staying at the home, I would still want to visit. And like, what are the visitors that you'd like to invite in to be able to tell a great story? Like, think of like Instagram influencers, or let me know.
Beautiful question. So we have Iman in our organization. We have Melissa. It's a beautiful woman who has huge experience with marketing, but and she is building a lot of our marketing strategies. But currently, we're also working on finding influencers, finding brand ambassadors, connecting with media outlets, building our email audience, and so much more. Like it's a lot. Like for me, it's a little bit frustrating to be true. I should be clear on this because it feels like if we wouldn't have to spend so much time of just trying to spread the word, we could focus on my opinion, much more important things. Like if we wouldn't need to spend some of our funds to pay Facebook to show our advertising or to MailChimp to do these targeting campaigns, we could allocate these resources in much more, let's say, tangible ways. But it is what it is. And as much as I don't like this, we are taking all these modern ways to get it out there. And we're developing now a viral campaign that will be supporting our launch of our fundraising campaign. So I can't share much of it now because it's still in development stage. Even though at 1st of December it should be already presented, so it's a little bit like, should we hurry up with this? But it's gonna be a viral campaign, and it's really has a really beautiful concept inside this. And we also recently started a movement in TikTok. Seriously, guys. So we started this movement in TikTok, and like public is reacting to this. It's called Switch for the Home. So I don't know if you remember this. I don't know if you even saw this. When children's, not only children, surprisingly, were dancing with like with some couple, with like a girl and a guy, for instance. They were dancing for some music, and the music were playing like la 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 la, and then switch. There was words in the music, and like they like turn off the lights and turn on it back, and then they switch clothes. So the guy stands in girls' clothes, a girl stands in the guy's clothes. So we decided that it's a little bit useless, this movement, and we want to, as much as it's popular, we want to bring kind of some meaningful component into this. And we started the movement Switch for the Home, when with the same music we were doing at first, we were showing some unsustainable practices, like for instance drinking from plastic bottle, right? And person drinks from plastic bottle and blah blah blah, and then switch, and then the same person is like, hey, and now she's drinking from like reusable bottle, for instance, right? So we're using different like creative strategies. But babe, if you have any offers, any ideas, you are very welcome. I'd love to have your input. And
Just to
always.
jump in again, I was thinking of developing, helping. What we're doing is developing a student body. So developing a student body for the home. So getting the younger generation to make the change, because I feel like there's a lot of power in young people speaking, and I feel as if like young people would be interested in making this change, especially growing up with climate change. So I'm going to be working on helping develop a student body for the home as well. I'd love to have all you guys participate in that, because the more of us that are spreading the word, the easier it'll get around. And I think that's another way to market it as well. Just an idea, but I'm gonna be working on it as well.
Thank you. And I'm sharing here. It's a beautiful idea. Also, by the way, you asked me to ask people who just finished or still in the high school. So I asked, and they want to participate in this too. So now let me share a link to our WhatsApp group chat. Just join there to stay in the loop if you still didn't do so. But yeah, do we have any more questions? No, seems like we're good, right? Perfect. I love this call. I love everyone who came here. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for your time. And see you at the launch, hopefully. Maybe we're going to do another community call. I don't know yet. But if not, then see you at our launch event. We'd love to see you there. Thank you, guys. I think we're done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Best of luck. Have a beautiful day. Thank you.
Thank you.